In any power struggle, the middle ground is a graveyard. You believe it is a position of safety, a calculated perch from which you can observe, wait, and preserve your relationships with both sides. You are wrong. This path of non-commitment, this attempt to be a friend to all and an enemy to none, is a strategic delusion. It is not a sanctuary. It is a trap you set for yourself. The neutral party is not respected for their prudence. They are despised for their cowardice. They are not seen as wise, but as weak, and in the calculus of power, weakness is an invitation to ruin. Today, we do not concern ourselves with pleasantries or comforting fictions. We look to a man who stripped away the moral veneer of human interaction to reveal the cold machinery beneath, Niccolò Machiavelli. He was not a monster. He was a pragmatist, a political scientist who documented the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. And his analysis of neutrality is not a suggestion. It is a timeless warning. Consider this. Two managers in your department are locked in a conflict over resources and direction. One is ascending, aggressive and effective. The other is established, more conservative, but holds institutional loyalty. They both approach you, seeking your support, your data, your tacit approval. Your instinct is to placate both, to offer non-committal assistance, to avoid taking a definitive stance. You tell yourself you are preserving your career by not making an enemy. You are, in fact, guaranteeing you will have no true allies. This introduces a fundamental principle of power. The winner despises the neutral for their lack of conviction. You believe your neutrality will be rewarded with magnanimity. The victor, however, has a long memory. They will not see you as a clever survivor. They will see you as a timid opportunist who was unwilling to risk anything for their cause. Machiavelli is brutally clear on this in The Prince. He writes, "He who is not your friend will demand your neutrality, whilst he who is your friend will entreat you to declare yourself with arms." He goes on to state that a prince, or in this case you, who chooses neutrality is almost always ruined. Why? Because the victor does not want a lukewarm friend. They want a committed ally. In their eyes, your refusal to join them when they were fighting was a sign of disloyalty. You offered no help in their time of risk, so they owe you no share in their moment of triumph. You become, at best, an afterthought. At worst, a loose end to be tied up. The takeaway is this. By refusing to choose, you are not seen as impartial, you are seen as unreliable. The victor, now in a position of greater power, has no reason to trust you, to promote you, or to protect you. You did not invest in their success, and they will not invest in yours. You chose the perceived safety of the middle ground, and in doing so, became strategically irrelevant. But the victor's contempt is only half of the equation. The other side of this ruinous coin is the hatred of the loser. Let us frame the problem differently. Two of your oldest friends are in the midst of a bitter falling out. It is personal, deep, and irreconcilable. Both come to you, not just for support, but for validation. They pressure you to confirm their side of the story, to condemn the other. Fearing the loss of one or both, you attempt to mediate. You offer vague sympathies to each. You refuse to take a side, hoping that time will heal their wounds, and your position in the middle will be remembered as wise. This brings us to our second principle. The vanquished will never forgive you for your inaction. To the loser, your neutrality was not a sign of thoughtful diplomacy, it was an act of abandonment. In their moment of greatest need, when they sought an ally, a defender, a witness to their struggle, you offered them nothing. Machiavelli understood this with chilling precision. He explains that the one who loses the conflict will harbor you with resentment because you would not take up arms in his behalf. You stood by and watched them fall. They will not remember you as the friend who tried to keep the peace. They will remember you as the friend who was not there. Your attempt to preserve the relationship with both has cost you the loyalty of the one who needed you most. Reinforce this in your mind. Neutrality is not a passive state. It is an active choice to withhold aid. In any conflict with real stakes, this choice is interpreted as betrayal by the side that loses. You have not only failed to gain an ally in the winner, you have created a bitter enemy in the loser. You have achieved the worst possible outcome, all from a desire to avoid risk. If these scenarios are beginning to resonate, if you recognize these patterns in your own life, consider this a primer. The real work is in applying these principles, in developing the fortitude to make a choice when indecision feels so much safer. We will continue to explore these truths without apology. Now consider the more subtle, internal conflict. You are in a meeting. A new project is being debated. You have a strong, well-reasoned opinion, but it runs contrary to the prevailing consensus, a consensus championed by a senior colleague. Voicing your true thoughts would create friction. It would mark you as oppositional, so you remain silent. Or you offer a watered-down version of your idea, hoping to please everyone. You stay neutral to the conflict between your conviction and the group's momentum. The result: the project moves forward on a flawed path, and your insights are lost. Your silence has made you complicit in a suboptimal outcome. The principle here is that indecision is itself a decision to be irrelevant. By avoiding the conflict of voicing your opinion, you have decided that your contribution does not matter. You have voluntarily moved yourself from the position of a player to that of a spectator. Machiavelli's entire philosophy is built on the concept of virtù, of skill, agency, and decisive action in the face of fortuna, or luck. He argues that a leader who wavers, who is indecisive, is despised. Choosing a side, voicing an opinion, committing to a course of action, this is how you impose your will upon the world. Even if your chosen side loses, or your opinion is initially rejected, you have demonstrated something valuable: conviction. You have shown that you are a person of substance, with a position. You are a known quantity. The person who stays silent, who remains neutral in the face of important decisions, is an unknown, and the unknown is never trusted. The takeaway is that there is often more honor and long-term advantage in choosing a side and losing than in never choosing at all. The losing ally is at least respected for their loyalty. The neutral party is respected by no one. You demonstrated courage, and courage is a currency that retains its value even in defeat. Indecision has no value. So we are left with a final, unavoidable truth. You must choose your battlefield, or one will be chosen for you. The desire to please everyone, to avoid all conflict, to find a safe harbor between warring factions, is a fantasy. Machiavelli's advice to be a true friend and a true enemy is not a call for aggression. It is a call for clarity. Declare your position. Let the world know where you stand. In doing so, you begin to shape the events around you. By remaining neutral, you surrender your agency and become a pawn in a game played by others, a piece to be sacrificed when it is convenient for either side. The middle ground is a graveyard because it is a place without allies. It is a place where you are exposed to the contempt of the winner and the hatred of the loser. It is the result of a strategy based on fear. And strategies based on fear always fail. True power, true influence, and paradoxically true safety are found not in avoiding commitment, but in making a deliberate, intelligent, and unwavering one. Have you ever lost by trying to stay neutral? Share your story below. The experiences of others are valuable lessons. If this analysis of power resonates with you, subscribe. We dissect these truths without apology. On your screen now are further discussions. Choose your next lesson.